Good morning, everyone. Hello, hello. I was going to say, I'm going to say, move on up, move on up. Y'all know us. If you in the back, we might make you ask a question or stand up and do a dance. If you're a family partner, Angie might do some review questions from the exam if you in the back. Y'all know how that exam was. My exam was in 2012. How long ago was that? It was a long time ago. All right. Thank you for being here this morning. Let me just say this right quick while our moderator gets ready. I wanted to mention, if you're a certified family partner, we wanted to take a picture over by the banner at some point during the conference. I guess we can do it, I don't know, maybe right after this. That's probably a good time to do it. So if you're a certified family partner, if you know a certified family partner who's here, let's try to meet up over by the banner. It's right next to the cafeteria. And we'll take a picture. So these slides are for a presentation that I'm doing later this afternoon. So we just need to get the other one. Y'all are getting a preview this afternoon. Me and my kiddo are doing a presentation later this afternoon about his journey. So he'll be 21 in November. So it's been a journey, y'all. We continue to do it. All right, I'm going to pass it over to Sherry.
Good morning still. Welcome to CFPs across Texas, Infusing Connection and Family Support. Thanks for joining us both in person and on Zoom. Just want to remind everybody as you leave, look for the QR codes. That's the link to the survey that we want you to fill out for every session. If you're online, we'll be pasting a link into the chat for the survey for this session. So I want to introduce our speakers. We have Nidia, who you've already met, Nidia Heston, and her husband are parents to a young adult who lives with autism, ADHD, bipolar disorder, and PTSD. For more than 20 years, Nidia has worked with families navigating child-serving systems, including education, mental health, intellectual, developmental, juvenile justice, and medical communities. Her passion is supporting these families while maintaining and building their internal resiliency. Born and raised in Austin, her self-care includes nature, new recipes, and old television shows. And I'm happy to say she's on my team at HHS-C. Hold on, there it's back. Okay. Angie Jackson is a native of Chicago, Illinois. She is a master-level certified family partner and holds an MBA in healthcare administration. She works for Centralized training infrastructure at UT Health Science Center, San Antonio. She's a proud mother, wife, grandmother, and great-grandmother. Her passions of teaching and mental health are now combined in one career. She plans to continue to use her parental lived experience to help families discover their best paths to health, happiness, and wholeness. And Danielle Mullins is a native of Florence, South Carolina. She holds a bachelor's degree in social work from Benedict College. She's a proud mother to a son with autism. Her self-care routine includes listening to music, cooking, and speaking positive affirmations. She plans to use her parental lived experience combined with 15 years of serving families to provide services, support and assistances in helping to foster a healthy family dynamic. So I think I will pass it over to y'all now. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Got the clicker. Thank you all for joining us this morning. We appreciate it. So we are here to talk about CFPs across Texas. Okay, thank you. All right. And those are some pictures. pictures for you. But that is us. So this morning, our objectives are for you to understand the qualifications for CFPs in Texas, to understand the importance and the value of engaging family voice, and for us to explore and expand systems where CFPs can be employed. And I am really, really excited about that aspect of today. Danielle is going to share with us a very exciting and innovative way that she is using her CFP skills. So we are really happy about that. So we have a lot of CFPs in the room, so we know that you all, okay, know the minimum qualifications, but just in case we have some people in the room that don't, we want you to know that, first of all, a candidate must be a parent or legally authorized representative with a minimum of 1 year of lived experience, being responsible for making the final decision of the child prior to their 17th birthday, okay? So, well, prior to their 18th birthday, so they need to be 17 or under, who has been diagnosed with a mental, emotional, or behavioral disorder. And we get a lot of questions sometime about why that is so very important. And I actually just had someone come up to me yesterday and say, you know, I never really understood why that was so important until they did understand, until they worked with someone who had not had that, did not meet that qualification and was trying to fulfill a role of a parent partner, and that person just didn't have, as we call it in the CFP world, that it factor. Trust us, when you are the person responsible for that child or children and have to make those final decisions, sometimes those hard decisions, it makes a difference, and it really does give you what it takes to take another family by the hand and walk that road with them. We have termed it the it factor. A candidate must be 18 years or older and must have a high school diploma or GED. They must have successfully navigated a system. Do I need to go to the next slide? I think so. Oh no, I've went too far, haven't I? I was on the, why y'all didn't tell me, Angie, you on the wrong side? Y'all know y'all gotta help me out. They must have successfully navigated a child serving system for at least 1 year. And what we mean when we say child serving system, any system that you find children being served in. So the school, juvenile justice, Social Security. A lot of our children may be eligible to receive benefits while we are raising them to help with their expensive special education, any type of those systems. They must be able to articulate, okay, I'm not being very good at this. They must be able to articulate their lived experience as it relates to advocacy for their child and the success of navigating those systems. And when we talk about be able to articulate it, believe it or not, and I was a supervisor at an LMHA for quite a few years and did a whole lot of interviews for family partners, and I really can't tell you how many people would come in for an interview and not be able to tell me a portion of their lived experience with their child. It was like, well, yeah, I mean, they did this, and it's like, okay. So they really do have to be able to articulate that in order to be able to help and take another family by the hand, okay? And their lived experience needs to speak to those accomplishments concerning their child's mental health and how they became stable on their journey, and not just regular parent. We know we are all as parents have went through something, no matter what, but this is a little bit, this is extra. And they can meet requirements for the Medicaid background check. And this is pictures of training classes, training and certification classes that have taken place. And what you see on the screen, come on, family partners, what is this? This is the family partner motto. Do for, do with, cheer on. And that is our motto. That's what we do. We do with a family to help them be able to stand on their own 2 feet. We do for a family to help them be able to stand on their own 2 feet. Then we do with the family as they continue in their journey. And then we cheer them on. So in some of my early days as a CFP, I was told by some other members of my team sometime, oh, are you coddling the family? Are you babying the family? And I would look at them and go, have you ever laid on the floor of a bathroom and cried because your week was so hectic that you missed an appointment, a very important counseling appointment with your child? Well, no, I have. So yeah, I'm gonna do this with this family right now because they're at the point that they need me to be right by their side. That it factor, okay? Y'all, it's gonna work for me. I'm determined. Okay. Huh? Okay, there we go. All right, I want to just pretty quickly walk you through a history timeline of CFPs. So in 2005, when we referred to it as DSHS, Department of State Health Services, mandated that all LMHAs have a family partner in the state of Texas. That was a glorious time for us. I remember I was at that meeting in 2005 in Dallas to discuss the family partner responsibilities and competencies. That was a very exciting time. We went on to talk about the initial responsibilities. Believe it or not, way back then, at first, family partners were the wraparound facilitators. We facilitated wraparound, and we ran family support groups. That's what we did. And then in 2010, the Texas Family Partners developed an informal network to support each other in the work. Again, another glorious time in history. Also in 2011 through 2012, there was a major shift in the state of Texas and the implementation of wraparound. So at that point, we no longer were being asked to facilitate wraparound, but we sat on the wraparound team as an important part to sit by the family during that process. Okay. Nidia made me include this next slide, y'all. It's going to
It was a very exciting time. It was in the archives. I had to.
It highlights how terrible at that time my skills were in trying to make a flyer.
No, we just didn't have the technology yet. Canva wasn't born yet.
Well, so I made this flyer, oh gosh, I think in 2010 or 2011. 2011. That's horrible. It was just way too much writing. Oh my goodness.
No,
I
I think to me,
But
let me add, to me what's important, especially about this flyer, not whatever you personally think about it, but if you look at the bottom, so at the top it says Via Hope, right? A lot of you are familiar with Via Hope. They had the family partner contract for a lot of years. But down at the bottom, at this time, Via Hope also collaborated with Mental Health America and NAMI Texas. So, right, this isn't just like this thing that happened or that Via Hope thought of. It was in collaboration with, other mental health agencies at the time. So we do have, and that's why I feel like this timeline is really important, because we do have a rich history of collaborating with other agencies as well. It's just not, there's this job that we can have for parents who've lied on the floor, because they're just exhausted. No, this was really a collaboration and really well thought out process where people recognized this is valuable for other parents navigating systems.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm not going to read these. I'm going to summarize these three for you. So basically, my job was to search and find a curriculum that would train and certify family partners. Well, I was afforded the pleasure of going to some other states and just researching other states and researching curriculums and looking and looking and looking, and nothing fit Texas. Can you believe that? Nothing was right for Texas. So we decided, we had a kickoff meeting in Austin at the Hawk Foundation, and who also collaborated with and put in money for family partners to do things. At that collaboration, at that kickoff meeting, it was decided, let's build our own curriculum. And seasoned family partners that had been doing the work got together with some other interested parties and stakeholders, and we developed the curriculum. And I had the pleasure of being the lead writer on that curriculum. But we had work groups from family partners all across the state. Okay?
I'll say I had been a family partner since 2007 and was part of this group writing this curriculum. So we didn't even have a training or curriculum for whatever that math is, 4 or 5 years. So when we say that, or when Angie says that we had people with rich experience that came together to develop this curriculum that a lot of you have had, there was lots of experience even prior to the curriculum that helped put that curriculum together. Absolutely. And I think it's really important also to share that history of our curriculum, family partner curriculum in Texas.
Absolutely. And the very first certifying class was in November of 2011, and we had 12 participants in that class, 12 people who got certified. And I myself, because I was the one leading it up, I went to the Federation of Families to get certified. So I got my first certification from the National Federation of Families. Then it works. It works. See, I'm going to say it wasn't me. It probably was operator error, but thank you. They're the GOAT, y'all. They are the GOAT. I'm telling you, this team, they are the GOAT. And finishing up that history, in 2013, Hill Country gave us they became the first LMHA to have a certified family partner as a director of family partner services, which was Lynn Freeze. She's now retired, but we were very, very proud of that. In 2020, the CFP contract was awarded to UT Health Science Center in San Antonio, the Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Health, and which is where I currently work. And San Antonio's Clubhouse Peer Force was awarded the contract to be the CFP and Peer Specialist Hub, and Texas Certification Board became the certifying entity for CFPs. Okay, so that is a portion of the rich history that comes behind the development of CFPs. Did I miss anything, Nidia? We'll think of it if I did. Okay. So, Miss Felicia is in the building. Felicia Mason Edwards from the state. She is our champion. Yes, she is a certified family partner herself, and she champions us at the state at all times. And so I would be remiss without including our performance contracts. So if a family partner works within an LMHA, and we have 39 LMHAs and LBHAs, they all have contracts with the state, with HHSC, that says they must have CFP support services, okay? And some of those key deliverables are that they are to serve at least 10% of eligible families. And the LOCs are there that they can work with families. So as you see, basically they can work with any family that's in services, okay? And we actually we talked about what a child serving system is, but those are some examples of the child serving systems that a family partner could have navigated to be eligible. Now, places you may find a CFP, which I said I was really excited that Danielle's going to give us an overview of a very different way that a CFP can use the skills that we have. But you will find a CFP, you can find them in the first episode psychosis program, coordinated specialty care. You can find them, of course, on child and family services units. Within IDD, we do have some family partners that work within IDD. We would love more. They work within the Yes Waiver program, juvenile justice programs, school programs. You can find CFP. I like the way I have heard Felicia put it, and I've been putting mouths on this, saying, if you can find a child and a parent, you should be able to find a CFP. If a child is there, if a family is there, you should be able to find a CFP. We do have guidance. Our guidance comes in the form of our 12 core competencies, our 19 code of ethics, and our 8 professional code of conduct. Now, I think that's very important because when we did the core competencies at that kickoff, the national norm, it was something like 8 or maybe 10 core competencies. Texas chose 12. We do it big. We go over and beyond.
I was going to say, even recently, a couple of years ago, the national core competencies went down to 6, maybe. They kind of grouped them together. So yes, of course, we do big and go big in Texas. And I wanted to point out the 19 code of ethics, y'all. I remember sitting at that meeting going, are we still talking about this one word in this line on this code of ethics? So when I say we really worked on it, and that's why to me they're so I don't know, precious, I guess, is because, again, there was lots of experience in that room, and we really, that was a tough one when we were doing the code of ethics part.
Yes. We're parents. We have to do it big. So our CFP duties and responsibilities. So the major responsibilities are listed here. We talk about advocacy. I want to just really emphasize that it's not advocacy in the way that you may think of Advocacy Inc. or one of those agencies, but we help families find their voice. And I'm using this term families because, yes, it may be bio mom, bio dad, it may be adoptive parent, it may be, you know, what, but we will work with any extended adult that is authorized by the parent to be in this child's life. So sometimes parent is working a lot and child is at home with grandparent a lot. And parent may come and sign consent and says, I can't be at this meeting, but if I can't be there, my mom is coming, or my mother-in-law is coming, or whoever it is. So that's why I'm using the term families, because if we have permission from the LAR, then we're going to work with that other adult in the home also, okay? Mentoring, engagement, role modeling. We role model. In training, family partners are taught about being a true role model. You know, not showing up late for appointments, because when we do that, what are we telling parents? That they can show up late for appointments. So, I mean, like, it may seem small, but we role model everything. Everything that we do, we're role modeling it. And we're being a mentor to that parent in every sense of that word. We facilitate support groups, and that's a really big one for us because many parents feel isolated. I know me, myself, and my son is almost 30. He'll be 30 this year, and I'll tell you, I'm the youngest of 10. I had 9 siblings. So I was always in a crowd, always in a group, never really felt alone until having a child with a mental health diagnosis. Then I felt really alone. So support groups, and I felt alone, not that my siblings left me or wasn't there or wasn't supportive or aren't supportive of us, but if they had not had that experience, they could just go, well, what do you need me to do? You know, and they really didn't know. They wanted to offer their support, but they didn't know what to offer. And so support groups gives families that. That family partner can offer that support to families that really makes a big difference. It's something about a peer-to-peer. I can tell you right now today, and Nidia and my children, Nidia's child and my child are adults, but we will still call each other and be like, so he did this. Help me not to kill him today. You know, so, and they're adults, but we're still going to be there for them always and forever. But it's something to talk to another parent who truly gets it and truly understands.
Especially because it's forever.
We're system navigators. Does a family partner need to know every single system? Absolutely not. My son was still quite young when I got into this, and I had never been through the juvenile justice system, Social Security, several systems I had never navigated with him at the time I became a family partner. But guess what? Navigating those systems with another parent and walking through them and learning them, when I did have to navigate juvenile justice with my son, it was like, okay, I know what to do now. So it's not that they need to know everything off bat, but trust me, we learn it, and we learn it pretty quickly. Okay. Now, some of those important, but you may not do, and that's just depending on the entity you work for and your specific job descriptions. Organizing children's mental health awareness events for your organization, receiving and organizing donations. Families, you always find a family that needs something. Always, always, always. If your agency has a little spot for you a little closet that you can put things in or something like that, that would be very, very helpful, because when you receive donations, you can kind of store them up, and then when they're needed, you can give them out. Organizing possible holiday baskets or toy drives, things of that nature. Company-wide children's mental health awareness contests, and company morale and togetherness. That was one of my favorite things to do, honestly. Okay. So CFP, CEUs, and Code of Ethics and Code of Professional Standards. We renew certifications every 2 years, and that's through TCB. They need 20 CEUs in one of the 12 areas that we train them in, one of the core competencies, in order to renew their certification. Those can be obtained in multiple places, i.e. CTI. They can come back to CTI to take endorsements and trainings, or sometimes your local LMHAs may have opportunities. This is an opportunity right here. You'll get CEUs right here at this beautiful conference. Remember to log them in your Certime. Upholding the code of conduct and upholding the code of professional standards. I will just simply appeal to your sense of knowing that you represent a field. You represent professionals everywhere you go, all day, every day. Even, I'm going to say, even off the clock. It's like, I don't know if anybody else's parents said to them, like my parents said to me, when you walk out that door, you're representing me. Just because I'm not there, don't think somebody won't come back and tell me you was acting a fool somewhere. So think of that. All right. And the steps to training and certification. And we still have a few left over, so Nidia has them in her hand. If you'd like a little card to take with you, those have basically what you see here on the slide, and it also has the minimum qualifications for a CFP. So if you would like one of those, you definitely may take one. But you register, make that profile on CTI, and basically my supervisor, Leah Cochran, I love my supervisor, she gets it and she sends it to me, and I call the person and we set up a virtual interview. We do the interview. After the interview, you're notified if you're accepted into the class. You attend a week-long class. It is jam-packed full of information. And then on that Friday, you test. You know right then and there after the test, when you submit it, it tells you if you passed or not. And then you take that certificate to TCB to get your actual certification. And you get emails from Felicia saying, go get your certification. You're finished with training. Go get your certification. We don't know why sometimes people wait a month or two to go get the certification, but Felicia's going to email you every day till you go get that certification. And so you get ongoing support from myself. I love it. It is not a bother. It is not a problem. Your supervisor, if you're a supervisor and you want to reach out to me, we can talk on the phone. We can have a virtual meeting. You have support. You have a support system. So know that CTI doesn't just drop you. Once it's over, you have a support system. So some last things that I am going to mention is the statewide mentorship program, which we had the pilot program and rolled it out in May. It started in May. I think we have a couple of people in here that are a part of that mentorship program. We have mentees and mentors. We have seasoned family partners that have chosen so graciously to work with new family partners to make sure they understand what they're doing, how they're doing it, and not feel alone in the field. Everybody is not as fortunate as places like Harris County, Bluebonnet, Hill Country. Those entities have, you know, multiple family partners, so they can have, you know, each other to kind of lean on. But some places only have one or maybe two, and they're not in the same county, so they really don't get a chance to get together. So the mentorship, the statewide mentorship program, again, and y'all, I'm not just saying this because she's in the room. I promise you, Felicia is just a big, big champion for family partners. And she makes sure that if it's possible to happen for family partners, it happens. We have the statewide call with HHSC, AKA Felicia. Once a month. It is the third Wednesday of the month at 10:30. If you want to be on her D list for that, please, you can reach out to myself or you can reach out to her to get on her D list to get those invitations for that call. That is a safe place for family partners, and supervisors attend that too, to find out all things family partner and all types of information.
And it's required.
And it's required. And the endorsements with CTI. So currently we offer an endorsement in special education. We offer an endorsement in wraparound, and hopefully this coming year, we will also roll back out the endorsement for juvenile justice, but there are also other endorsements in the works. It just takes us time to research, get the information, and write the curriculums to put the endorsements in place. But we want endorsements in all kinds of areas. We've heard you. We've heard that you want the endorsements in so many different areas, and we are working on them. Thank you for keeping me busy. I enjoy it. No, I really do. So, does anyone have a question for me? Okay, if you can hold, on chat, you're the, go ahead. I was finna say, somebody give that lady a mic. Okay, the question was, how do you become a mentor? So you have to apply with me. So right now, this is the pilot. The pilot ends August 31st. After that, when I get that green light to continue from Miss Felicia, I will be releasing it far and wide. So I'm sure they will get an email if they're on my distribution list or Felicia's distribution list. You should receive the application sometime probably in September to apply to become a mentor. And the process, because there is I didn't go into the process today, but you have to apply, and if you are accepted, then there's a 2-day training, because we're not just sending mentors out there rogue. They have to be trained. We have to know what they're telling their mentees, and it's a process. But thank you, whoever that is. Let me know who you are, because we definitely will be looking for seasoned family partners to have a pool of good mentors on board, because we have plenty mentees. Yes.
As a supervisor, can you maybe suggest some things that I can do to make it easier for my family partners, I have 3, to do their jobs and, clear out whatever barriers there might be?
Yes. Depending on the particular barrier, I know a lot of times the barrier is engagement. I always say you gotta give them something to make you want to come back. Parents, if they feel like it's just another meeting, they may not want to set up another meeting. But one thing that I say in training to family partners all the time, that family guide to services, that's at least 4 to 6 sessions with a parent right there, if they just walk a family through that family guide to services. If the family is in yes waiver, that pamphlet explaining yes waiver, we know the facilitators have their job, but sometimes family partners can put things in a certain verbiage that really helps a family understand. So families also, after they're family partner, after they're certified, can also provide nurturing parenting. That's a weekly session, sometimes for 12 weeks, 16 weeks. So those are some different things, just depending on what the barrier is. But I would love, if you want to talk and we can go one-on-one and talk about what particular barriers there are. Yes.
Well, I come from El Paso, Texas, okay? It's a borderline, and we have a big problem, a big barrier. The kids, they go to a school, but the thing it is, they're not the parents what they're living with, okay? They're not the real LARs. They're guardians, but at the same time, it's real hard to work with them. Why? Because they don't not even know these kids, okay? They not even eat in there. They cross the border every day. It's real bad. And then we try the most that we can, but at the same time, sometimes it's kind of impossible, okay? And we try to tell them why he doesn't stay with you 2 days and you can know this kid and what he's going through, because we got a reference from, the counselor school, but at the same time, we untie hands because we can do so much.
Yes.
And you're not going to believe it, even the district is real far away for the border. It's probably like 2 hours on the bus. Those kids cross the border every single day. So at this point, give me a suggestion, what we can do, what we can implement, or have an idea that one we can come out with, then we can be more successful in our program. Because at this point, I work with the family, and when I go, on the sessions, well, they can say nothing to me because they not really live with them.
Yes, I understand. I understand your point. Thank you for that. And a family partner does have to work with an LAR, the legal authorized representative. So if that person is not the LAR, the family partner would, is not authorized to work with them. However, I would say I have seen situations probably nowhere near like what you've seen, but in the areas that I did do direct service, and we had that situation, one of the things that I tried to do was just to get them with some type of immigration services, or get them with lawyers or someone that could help them get the legal custody of the child, so that they would be able to make those decisions if they were the person. Yes, Nidia's gonna help us out on this.
I would say, too, that's a good opportunity. I mean, the fact that they're crossing the border for 2 hours just to get to school, oh my gosh, what a strength that is, right, that they're wanting to do that. most of what we do as family partners, or should be doing, is meeting families where they are. If that's where they are, like they're at least opening their door to someone, coming to go 2 hours to go to school, that's a strength. And kind of what Angie said earlier, we need to find something that that will engage them, that will be, the hook, that will be the gancho, right? We say in Spanish, to engage families. So maybe, like you said, they're not at a point where they're really invested in the kiddo's mental health because they're just an address for the kiddo to come. But that's still a strength, right? They're still there at least for that to happen. So I think that's a perfect example is, as family partners, it's tough a lot of times, especially when we initially get a family. And a lot of times I'd get the families where the therapist is like, I don't know what to do with them. You talk to them. It's like, okay, that's the challenge, right? What can we find to really connect? So I would say the fact that you're just still connecting with them is supportive of those types of situations. All right. Thank you for the questions.
Hello, everyone. My name is Danielle Mullins. I am not as seasoned as Miss Angie and Miss Nidia, but this is my first time, so please bear with me. Oh, the clicker, okay. So see, they don't want me to be perfect, because as soon as I click it, it goes off. But it's really me talking about my role as a non-traditional CFP. So let me just say that my name is Danielle Mullins. I am based out of Houston, Texas. I am a community outreach case manager. That's not us. Okay. My role as a community outreach case manager for the Women's Home is like this. So the Women's Home, we provide residential treatment as well as supportive housing. We have 2 apartment complexes for low-income individuals as well as our seniors. And so my role there as a community outreach is to go out into the community and find resources for those families. And so my role as a CFP is, honestly, it's almost like a marriage, because I am accustomed to working with families, regardless of where they are. I am accustomed to finding resources, making referrals. Advocacy is really one of my strong points. Let's see if it'll. And so, I'm sorry. So I wanted to, like today, I was being a CFP, actually was easy for me. When I met Miss Angie, a lot of what she was talking about was what I was doing. And she was like, you're already doing it. And I'm like, but how? But once I understood the role and went through the certification, I realized that as a parent, having a child who does have a disability, as you can see, I did bring my kids. And that was one of the things that I did also love about coming here and being a part of this, is that I was able to bring my children. I have a total of 5, but I have 4 here with me. Eli is my purpose. When I learned of his diagnosis, the one thing I had to learn is that I had to be strong for Eli. And that became my motto, and that means using my skills as a social worker to implement them in my role as a parent with a child with disability, but also as my role as a CFP. I love speaking up for those who don't know how to speak for themselves. I love standing in the gap. Because I am a CFP, I do understand those signs that you may not know if you don't see. I understand what it feels like to be in a room and you feel outplaced because you think nobody can understand. I can pick up on those signs and cues, and that's why having that lived experience is so important, because you know those signs, those feelings. You understand when they're having that conversation, what they're trying to say. You can pick up if that mom or that caregiver can't say what it is that they need because you have been there yourself. And so in my role as a CFP and as a community outreach, I am able to do this job, and I actually love it. Now, as I was just sharing, I am a mother of 5. See, I keep forgetting to click. I am a mother of 5. We recently located from South Carolina. When I arrived in Texas is when I learned that my child was showing symptoms and signs of autism. And that was very overwhelming and very emotional. I did not have a support system here. And so what I did not realize, and I say that God He is funny. He will position you exactly where you need to be. I did not know at the time, because I was like, God, this is a lot. I don't know what I'm doing. This is so vague. It's a bunch of information. How do I provide the services I needed for my son? And I went through that journey, and I recognized it. And so just being here, it's like when I came across this opportunity, I'm like, okay, this is perfect. What I needed was a CFP. But instead of me being sent a CFP, I became a CFP because I wanted to be what I did not have. And so that's kind of like where I am. I'm sorry. I am nervous because it's like, okay, this is a huge opportunity, and I'm so thankful for it. But my role is, again, it is non-traditional from your traditional role. My job allows me the freedom to work with families. Many of our families there, because we have a total of about 80 children, many of them are dealing with ADHD. They're dealing with behavioral problems in school. They are dealing with maneuvering the IEP system in school. So I have had an opportunity to work with those families, be a voice for them, not to give them an answer, but guide them to the solution that best works for their family. And I guess I jumped before all of my slides, but that's pretty much it for me. Did anyone have any questions for me? Or? I did. So so maybe I didn't hear me. I work for the Women's Home in Houston, Texas. We do provide residential care for those that are having drug and alcohol, and we do provide supportive services, yes, for those same families, but also for low-income families. So working with those families, we do have an array of services that they need, but a lot of them do have children. We service about 80 children on one campus. As I was mentioning, a lot of these families, a lot of them, their children do have IEPs. They are looking for resources within the school and out. They are trying to find therapies. Some of them are starting to learn that their child are identifying certain behaviors. And so when they speak with me, I have been able to recommend them to referral. Like, for instance, ECI. A lot of the moms who have children under 3, I say, he's not talking, and we kind of talk about, what that looks like and the services and options that are available for them. So those are some of the things. Also facilitating support groups for them. Those are some of the things that I do as my role as a CFP, as well as a community outreach for the Women's Home. Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to say thank you, because you got the heart, the courage.
Thank
It's an honor to have you here. Especially
Thank you.
With 5 kids.
Yes.
You know what? I'm serious. You're an example, a role model. And
Thank you.
I wanted to say thank you very much. You are wonderful. I love
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Come on, Coach. Okay.
Hi, good morning or afternoon. I love your story. Something in particular that you mentioned was that when you did your big journey, your move to Texas, you had your kids, God positioned you.
Yes.
And so that resonates with me personally, how he positions things and things are put in a timely manner.
Yes.
But I'm just curious if you're willing to share a little deeper. What did that look like? What was that positioning? What supports or networking kind of collapsed or fell together into place for you in that time?
So during that time, when I first moved here to Texas again, I was so excited because I actually prayed, and I'm like, God, okay, it's time for me to relocate. I know I have 4 small children. I have 5 total, but I trusted God because I do believe He will put everything in you that is needed to put into your children. And so I did take a huge step and move to Texas. I do not have family here. I do not have support here. However, the journey has been amazing. One of the things that I did experience early on was seeing signs and changes in, at the time, my 2-year-old. And so what I mean by he positioned me, if I had stayed in South Carolina, I would have never left if I noticed those signs for my son. But sometimes he does isolate you, and he kind of reminds you that you are enough. And so in that process, there were many nights that I was overwhelmed. There was many nights that I cried because I did not feel like I could call family. I could call friends and explain to them what was happening, because if I'm being honest, when you first get that diagnosis as a parent, you sometimes feel that you're at fault. Are you trying to figure out how you can fix it? And so I knew that nobody would understand, because what I got from my mom was, I'm like, Mom, he's not eating. Well, child, when he hungry, he'll eat. And I'm just like, but he's not eating, you know. If I went the way of listening to everyone else, then I would not have been prepared to deal with my son. And so when I was maneuvering the system, and as we know, autism, it is a spectrum, so that no one person is identical. So I might talk to one mom, and she may say, yeah, my son, but once I took him here, he was fine. But I'm like, but that didn't happen for me. So maneuvering those systems and trying to figure out, taking information that is vague and saying, okay, I have to, because I kept crying, right? And a friend said, Danielle, you got to be strong for Eli. And I'm like, you know what, you're right. But then I start crying again, like, no, I got to be strong for Eli. But then I remember, like, Danielle, remember who you are. Remember who you was before Eli was diagnosed with autism. And who I am is I've always been a person who have been strong in advocating. I advocate for everyone. I can go online and find information and just share it because I want to help. So I had to switch that role. And so when I mean by He used me, it was like, God, I'm crying to you because I need help. But then He reminded me, I am the help. And so that's what I mean by it's funny because He will position you in a place to make you be the thing that you are seeking. And so that's what I've become. So when I'm in this role, it is so easy because I can look at that mom when she's talking. I can understand what her body language is saying, even when her words can. And I can reiterate to her, I understand where you are. I understand what that looks like. But this is what we have to do. Because I'm saying I have to be strong for Eli, but we have to be strong for our loved one. So I hope that I answered that question for you. Any other questions? No? Yeah? Okay. Okay.
Crying like a big old baby, and I just want to tell you that you really touched me, and
Thank
we're
you.
in our training together.
Yes.
So it just, I didn't have a family partner with my son, and it does take a toll on you. And I'm also, I was a single mom of 5 kids up until like 2 months ago. So
congratulations.
Yeah. So it is hard when you have so many kids and you're trying to do everything and work and stuff. So I'm just happy to be in this position to help other families and just grow.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions for me? That's it. Thank you all for allowing me to speak today.
And she said she was nervous. I'm nervous about this thing falling on my head. All right. So we've got about 25 minutes. And which way is the clicker? Left or right? She not answering me? Okay, that was the questions. Thank you so much. So if you don't know, I had someone ask me this morning, on the CVent site is where all of the PowerPoints are listed. So you can take a picture of this really quick if you want. There are email addresses, but it's also on the CVent site. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So my slides look a little bit different because I am employed by the state, and we just have a different process for our slides. So they just look a little bit different. But what I'll be sharing on this morning is the family voice part of Certified Family Partners across Texas. So Angie gave us a great just overall rundown about family partners in Texas. I think most of you are certified family partners. If you're not and are interested in knowing more about them, like we said, we have those cardstock flyers if you'd like to know more about that. Danielle shared about her. I don't know that we can call it non-traditional. It's non-traditional in the sense that it's not connected to a local mental health agency or local behavioral health agency, kind of like the state contract is. So today, that's really what we want to highlight is, not the frog in my throat, but that family partners can really be anywhere, right? Because mainly what we're doing is we're supporting people in that system. Sort of like Danielle shared, she found herself in a particular situation that she could relate to others. They were navigating similar paths. For Danielle to have shared with us this morning. So thank you, Danielle. Oh. So what is Family Voice? I took some quotes from different slides or different websites. So I particularly like this one. Families and family-run organizations are vital components of recovery-oriented service systems. Family members train and support other families, sharing lived experiences and insights that instill hope, increase understanding, and contribute to systems transformation. So I hope, right, that's what you heard through Danielle's story, is that's what we do. We give hope at the very minimum, kind of what Cecilia's question was. I don't really know what to do. Well, continue to instill hope, right? That this, whatever that journey is on, is someplace that families can continue to travel. The insights of individuals need to be front and center in every aspect of a system of care, including policymaking, program design, service delivery, quality improvement, and workforce development. Felicia's working hard back there on our workforce development part, as is Angie with doing the trainings on CTI. And with us for Texas System of Care, one of the programs that, one of the grants that we have is we have funded 3 sites in Texas to include a family partner and a mental health peer support specialist to provide services to the youth within a school. So for us, that's kind of our part of the CFPs across Texas, is that we're providing that support to those teams, doing that within a system. And then there's our website, Texas System of Care. I want you guys to read that top line. 1, 2, 3, go. One more time, loud and clear.
Family voice matters. Nothing about us without us.
In the words of Florence Gump, that's all I'm going to say about that. Right? Nothing about us without us. Our voices need to be front and center wherever they're talking about us. And I say that a lot of times because I am that us. A lot of times, I was in a session yesterday and they were talking literally about families, and they were saying, and those families, no families. I'm like, I am that family. So, maybe we need to have a conversation. This is another great website, National Federation of Families. Isn't that where your National Family Partner Certification is from? So another website, if you're interested in that national certification, probably most of you could already apply for it. So that's also really great. Partnering with families, providers are considered subject matter experts in what they are trained to do. But families get to contribute lived experience and claim their own journeys. I really love that part. We claim our own journeys. I feel like, especially now, I'm hoping what we're doing partners supporting families in claiming that journey loud and clear when families are ready, right? Part of what Angie said in an earlier slide is the different things we do, mentoring, role modeling. One of the sheets that we have from Texas Family Voice Network, if you were in the family meeting yesterday, is stages of family leadership. Families are sometimes ready or sometimes somewhere along the spectrum of this family leadership. Family leadership doesn't always look like, standing up here speaking to people, but it could be. It could also mean going to that school with another parent and saying, I support you. We can do this. We want this change, or we need this explanation, or we have this question. So leadership can look like all different, at all different levels. And down there again, Texas Family Voice Network is another great website. So partnering with parents, I don't know if anyone's heard of the Hearts Ladder, kind of the levels of participation that happen. So we use this word engagement a lot, right? But it says youth and families are consulted, typically in an extremely time-bound, sporadic manner. I'm like, I don't know that I want to just be engaged anymore or engaging families anymore. I really want involvement, right? Youth and families are invited to participate or contribute to some portions of a larger project or goal. Hopefully, you all felt like we tried to do that yesterday morning, those of you who were there at the family meeting with our cards. I really want to be sure that we're just not engaging you in that strategic plan, that we're really involving families who have that lived experience in this strategic plan that we're building. Ultimately, we want it to be a partnership where youth and families have equal power, input and investment in mutually agreed upon outcomes. We're not used to having to or being asked to compromise on a goal, right? Usually it's like, oh, here's the plan, go do it. Hopefully we're moving past that. All right. Yes.
When I go with the parents, usually with the families, I really never use engagement because they kind of, they don't want that. They feel it's a big compromise that they're not going to be able to do it. So I really like the involvement in partnership,
No, it's a good thought process, and I'm glad you said that because that's what I'm hoping. So what she said was families sometimes, for whatever reason, are hesitant to engage. And Cecilia's thinking, well, maybe let's move up to the next point of involvement. Maybe we've engaged enough. I mentioned earlier, my son will be 21. I feel like sometimes I've engaged enough. I want to be involved. And I'm actually at the point where let's just move on up to this partnership because I'm tired of this engagement piece. I need to know that what I'm saying and what you've been asking me for, texting me and emailing me about, you're actually doing something about that, not just engaging me. Engaging is good, right? There's always a starting point, but we should really strive to move forward. As family partners, both with the families that we work with directly and also some of us who are working in these larger systems, that's what we can help support families do. Maybe they don't recognize that they have a voice, that they have that power, like it said on that other slide. And as family partners, that's what we can help support them in recognizing what their voice is. I was looking to see if Leah was in here, but no, she's not in here. So at our Children's Mental Health Acceptance Day in May, we usually have a youth or family speaker. This year we had Leah. She is a family partner from Integral Care here in Austin. So the mission of Certified Family Partner in Texas is to support families having their voice integrated into systems and recovery models. It is best practice as part of a person-centered plan. You all heard Jennifer Toon yesterday talking about person-centered, and inside I was going, yay! yes. That's what we really want to do. She also said that when they first asked her what she wanted or how she wanted it to look like, she's like, I don't know. So as family partners, again, that's a lot of times where we have to start, is helping families create that. I know wraparound is great. It's amazing. My son did Yes Waiver. He did CRCG. We had all kinds of wraparounds. But it was work, and you'll hear a little bit more about that if you come to our session this afternoon, and getting him to really believe that he wasn't just being engaged, right? We were really asking for his input. This is his plan, not what I want to see, but what he wants to do, okay? To align with Texas System of Care values, CFPs are instrumental in all areas where families are involved. Recovery journeys, advocacy at all levels, and in developing policy and processes that impact their lives. Again, hopefully yesterday that was just a little bit of insight. We really, really want that. I think sometimes Sherry, my boss, is like, oh God, I hired Nidia. She really wants to engage families. What do we do? Y'all, when I say that I'm really saying that, I'm like, that's not gonna work. We have to make sure that when we're asking that we know how to get back and let people know that we heard you and this is what we're doing with that information. And that's part of what I'm doing at, kind of a systems level. Family Voice promotes engagement and ownership in processes, policy development, and a family's own care. Is it about us? Shouldn't be. Is it about those metrics that Angie showed earlier? Shouldn't be. It's about what a family wants. When families know that they are heard, youth experiences better outcomes and the ability to elevate their own voices. How many times have we seen that when that wraparound plan really is coming from the youth and the family? What happens? Stuff is better. They feel better. Not only better by what is the one that the youth do? The ANSA. I get confused between the ANSA and the cans. Not only what the score on the can says, but we really see they're smiling more, even though they're a 13-year-old. They're smiling more. Maybe they're engaging their parents in the song that they like for that week. We just see those changes. Advocacy, Amplify Your Voice, Texas Family Voice Network, again, great resource. They have this booklet that provides guidance on how to share lived experience at local, state, and other systems levels. It really is kind of a step-by-step guide on how to contact policymakers, how to write letters, how to be prepared. It's just a really great resource, especially when you have families or parents like Danielle over there who's like, I'm ready, tell me how to, but I don't know how to do it. This is a book that can really help you do that. Again, some other just resources. This one down here, FREDLA, Family Run Executive Leadership Association, has a lot of really great resources as well. Federation of Families, a lot of you are probably familiar with that one. System of Care, where I work. Texas Family Voice Network, again, is that sheet. And of course, SAMHSA. I was going to say also on this leadership, stages of leadership, on the back is a self-care tip sheet, not only for you, but for the families that you work with, and maybe even for children and youth, looks like maybe. So I have those up here too if you'd like a copy of that. Oh, I forgot I made copies of this one too. So can you all see this? Kind of. So family engagement systems, this is also from FREDLA. What I really like about this one, and I do have printed copies of this, is it just kind of gives different examples, categories of how we can use family voice. Acknowledge the experts. I really like this one. Financial compensation, such as stipends or gift cards for families' time, is an acknowledgement of the experience that families bring to policy and decision-making tables. We were at a conference in Baltimore a couple of weeks ago, and a youth was talking about this part, and they go, and I don't just mean a pizza party. I mean, pizza parties are great. I love food. I love pizza. But again, we should be at a point where we're elevating that a little bit more. We're really acknowledging with some, some stipends. That's really important. Support participation, assistance with transportation and childcare, translation services, and the use of technology facilitate families' participation. We have most of that at this conference. It cut me off, interesting. That is how I'm about to say, but we're missing, my mic goes off. We do the part with the child care assistance, I would like to do that better next time. But I feel like we did meet some of those other ones with the Zoom streaming, translation services. We really tried to meet that this time around. Voices of all families, creative outreach strategies such as community events, focus groups, online surveys, and social media provide opportunities for the voice of all families to be heard. So just kind of think about the different places that we can do that as well. So I'll have this sheet available too, if you all would like to take that with you. So just in summary, family voice is the experience families bring to systems and their recovery plans. We can all agree on that, right? Family voice should be included in all levels of system planning, process development, and policy development, as well as their own recovery plans. And let's all read this last one. 1, 2, 3, go. Does that also mean at your local agency where you work? That can be really scary. I think someone in here asked a second ago, as a supervisor, how can I support my family partners? You can support your family partners by making sure they have a voice and that it's heard within their organization and not just involved, right? But really, we heard you. This is how, let's talk about how we can implement some of those things that you're talking about. Oops. Clicker's upside down. Okay, so this is my information, and we have about 5 minutes. Angie, did you have anything else to add, or Danielle?
The only thing that I wanted
to
to add, I see a couple of hands for questions, yeah. The only thing I wanted to add was I, as of yesterday, have another piece to add onto the timeline. History was made right here at the Texas System of Care CRCG conference because all 4 coordinators for the certified family partners throughout the years, since there's been a coordinator, all 4 coordinators were actually here at the conference. And that was a big thing because one of the coordinators is retired from working, and the other coordinator lives in Oregon, and she came all the way back just for this conference. So that was really big for us yesterday, and we were just overjoyed to see that this means so much to families, to family partners, to CFPs, that all 4 coordinators were in the building.
Yeah, that was really great. Question?
Hi, thank you all for speaking today. So I actually work for a nonprofit that supports people with disabilities, and if we're interested in possibly bringing in a CFP in, is there someone we can reach out to, or is there grants available for that?
It's her. Talk to her. She's not excited about it or anything.
Right.
But Angie Jackson with Centralized Training Infrastructure would be a good person to talk to. And also Felicia Mason Edwards.
Perfect.
She's our Texas Workforce Development manager. I don't know what you are. So she was really interested in growing this force.
And do y'all have grants available for that, for funding? Or?
You can talk to Felicia.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. We're walking the mic to down the road. Again, thank y'all so much for being here.
Okay, I'm the CRCG chair, and the family partner, she does come to all the meetings most of the time. should they have a more input, especially when we staff in a family that had young ones that is not an adult, or do they represent both the adult and the children?
So typically, I'll give mine as. So typically for family partners in Texas at this time, we're called family partners. We used to be called parent partners. I think in TAC it kind of goes both ways. But typically for family partners, we're talking about the experience of a parent or guardian of someone under the age of 13. So we are also talking with 18. Did I say 13? Oh gosh, 18. Sorry about that. We are, talking with Felicia about how we can expand that to, to the older, especially what we call transition age youth right now. So, I think if they have experience in that area, they can definitely, that's kind of where I am right now, is my son is in that age group.
Sometimes I feel bad for the parent.
So
Sometimes I feel bad for the parent that is there, because it is hard for them to tell you all the problems that they experience, and especially we in a county that we don't have really any resources available. So we have to go outside the county to provide. So sometimes I'm just looking for somebody that kind of lend a hand to the parent. And I don't know if this is what the description of the family partner. Yes, we do have one or two in our agency, but I don't know much about what entails for them, because my program had nothing to do with the rest of the agency, even we are under that agency.
So also, if the family partner works with a local mental health authority, if the child, quote unquote, they might be over 18, but they may be being served within IDD, or they may be being served within first episode psychosis. Those programs extend the age past 18. And if the parent, it just all depends on if the parent is still involved and the permission is there for the parent to be in on everything from that person that is over 18. So in that sense of it, if the child, quote unquote, is over 18, then a family partner may be still involved in the situation and in the services, and the family partner can work with that parent of that person in services that is not necessarily a child.
But then also in that, we have to be sure that that person who is now over 18 also agrees. And I think that's why, kind of go down right here, but that's why we right now really emphasize under 18, because once we get over 18, right, there's lots of other guidelines and HIPAA and other things that we want to make sure that that person has agency over if they're still involved in those services and those supports. NAMI, Texas might be a good resource for a family who is experiencing or has some questions about navigating for someone who's over 18. Okay. So we're a few minutes past. If you have any questions, you can come up and ask us. Our flyers are here at the table. Thank y'all so. And I got cut off. Thank you all for the work that you all do.
Thank you, presenters. Yes,
oh,
thank
I'm
you
sorry,
all.
Sherry still has some
No, I have
closing
quick announcements
remarks.
as you're getting up. QR codes are on all of the doors for the surveys for this session. If you're online, it'll be in the chat. It is lunchtime, so enjoy the lunch. The next session starts at 1:15, and enjoy yourself, meet other attendees, and be sure to visit all of our exhibitors. Thanks, y'all.